I think what passive safety can help us to do is to identify potential hazards and do something about them.
It's certainly stimulated the industry to develop safer products and develop safer concepts.
It's not just about equipment, it's the whole philosophy of a forgiving road network.
I think it's about making things survivable.
It's a proactive form of safety. It's putting equipment out there that when people do, for whatever reason, leave the carriageway, absorbs the impact of the vehicle.
There's this buzzword holistic, where people are starting to say, well, you can't actually divorce the road that the person's driving on, that driver's own psyche, if you like, and the vehicle that he or she is in. Those three work together. And the Swedes, for example, when they've been developing something known as Vision Zero, they've looked at 5-star vehicles driven by 5-star drivers on 5-star roads. And I think that's now becoming a much more generally and genuinely accepted concept.
You meet resistance at all sorts of levels. You meet resistance because of standards, and you meet resistance because of lack of standards. You meet resistance because in a lot of people's eyes, the type of crashes that happen are because people are reckless or stupid or drunk or on drugs or whatever. And that's not always the case. A lot of people are just making small mistakes. We all make mistakes, and sometimes they do lead to these tragic consequences. But I think there's still resistance on local roads. And the other thing, of course, is money. You know, it's all very well to say we should have every single sign out on the network as being a breakable sign or a sign that is passively safe. But it would cost an enormous amount of money to replace all of that street furniture. So we need a procedure, we need a policy, and that's, I think, where the emphasis of this is shifting now onto the local roads, looking at how we could risk assess and how we could rank things in that way.
It has to be an evolutionary process. You have to demonstrate to individuals the benefits of things and how they can improve out on the network for people before they accept that you know they've got to see it for themselves, in other words, before they accept that they can see what the benefits are.
In Durham we work very closely with our colleagues in the fire and rescue and the police, and they're the people that actually see it on the front line. They're the ones that have to deal with the bodies, they're the ones that have to go and deal with the relatives, which they find much harder work. You can become immune to picking body parts off the road. You never become immune to actually going and seeing the families and explaining what's happened to their loved ones. And that's something, as an authority or a highways agency engineer, you don't. You deal it with it as a number and a piece of paper that there was a collision, someone died. Could you do anything about it retrospectively? Our aim is to be able to do it in advance so we don't have this situation.
You've got to make the public aware, and I think a question in the first session, which was how do we get this to the public eye, is a good one. Politicians could help bringing it more into their agenda. I think that's the way it's got to go. I think it's got to be pushed from the Department of Transport and from government.
Sooner or later, I think somebody will get hold of this and say, let's persuade the general public that there's a tool available that they would welcome.
I think what you see here, an event like this, is probably a confirmation of people's passion for it and their belief in it. It's the people that are not here, clearly, that need convincing, and that includes the public. There's very few people out there, including my own family, that will recognize a passively safe product. I don't think that the public out there appreciates how dangerous these non-passively safe structures are. That is where the real challenge lies. And some of the pictures that we've seen and some of the films that are out there deserve to be shown to a wider public.